Completely forgot everything that I was going to say. Yay, vertigo. Because I fear I must reveal I am potentially an idiot.
Captain's log. Stardate 79821.7. I'm giving up the will to live.
I, say it with me, am not feeling well. It's time to start another reading vlog. Everyone excited? So this time around, we are doing dark romances that have a captor-captive or captive-captive element to them. So I'm very excited. This is a subgenre that I love so much within dark romance because it can explore so much with the human psyche, looking at cognitive dissonance, how the captor maybe justifies keeping this person captive to themselves, the things that arise while in captivity, the different phases that someone goes through, trying to resist, trying to figure out when to appease. I love all of that. In my May TBR, I did ask you guys to vote on which ones you wanted to see because there was 4 and I was like, I want to get this down to 3, but someone pointed out that actually most of these books are quite short and I thought I could do all 4. And you know what? I agree. So I'm starting this vlog a little bit earlier than I normally do in the hopes that I can get to all of them. Now, before I jump into things, I must make my very usual, at this point, most unfortunately, I lost the word. Oh my God, the brain fog is so bad. Disclaimer, nailed it. I have vertigo. I've had vertigo for a couple weeks now. It's slowly getting better, but it's causing horrible brain fog. Sometimes I forget what I'm talking about. I'm very dizzy and mildly nauseous at all times. The amount of things that I've run into, the amount of things that I've dropped never ceases to astound me how off balance this entire thing has made me. So just be prepared for that and hopefully it will go away throughout the video. So there's that. The other thing, I still don't know how I feel about these glasses, but I'm trying to force myself to wear them in hopes that I will love them eventually. I did figure out that wearing them a little bit lower down my nose does help because this is not great. A little bit further down. It's a little bit better. All right, should we actually talk about the books that we're going to be discussing in this video? So the first one is Captive by R.J. Lewis. This was the one where it starts a year into captivity. One of them is trying to bring them back to when it all started and one of them is trying to forget. So this one is the longest of the bunch. It is about 600 pages. So we're going to do that one first to make sure we knock it out and get it out of the way. The next one we are going to follow up with is the one that I think is probably going to be like the most unhinged, Dolly by Measha Stone. This is just a little guide. This is almost novella length. It's 230 pages, so I feel pretty good about being able to knock this one out. This one, it has 2 captives that have been in captivity for a while, and I think the hero's like trying to make things better for the heroine. The blurb for this book was just utter nonsense, so who knows what it actually means. We'll find out. Then I plan to move on to something that's a little bit older. This one's from 2014, Prisoner by Skye Warren and Annika Martin. This is the one where the heroine is an English teacher or like a creative writing teacher or something like that in the prison, and the hero signs up for her class and then ends up taking her hostage when he escapes from the prison. And then our final one is once again something shorter. It's under 300 pages. This one is from 2009. Like, this is like a pioneer for its time in dark indie romance. Indie romance was really just starting to take off on online platforms. But anyways, it's Captive in the Dark by C.J. Roberts. So this is the one where the hero has a whole revenge plot set up where he ends up taking the heroine and wants to train her as a pleasure slave. Now, I'm going to get going on Captive by R.J. Lewis. I will update you in the next couple of days. Tonight, I'm going out to dinner with my very close friend. We have not caught up in over like 2 months. We're both fiending for a chatty time. I'm hoping that I will be able to update you sometime tomorrow, though, if I'm able to read in the morning. We may need to pick up some audiobooks. And by we, I do mean me. I may need to pick up some audiobooks with the vertigo. It is a little bit hard to read at certain points because my eyeballs kind of move across the page. I'm actually going to go lay down now for a little bit before dinner with my friend because I'm already nauseous just from this little bit of head turning. And I will talk to you very, very soon. Hey divas. Ooh, well, you know what? That's fine. Sorry, I'm very distracted by the fact that my eyebrows look absolutely 2016 right now. I just dyed them because one of the downsides of being blonde is that you do not in fact have eyebrows unless you put hair dye on them. They're looking a little much right now. But anyways, I am in the process of summoning the will to live. So I'm just a little Baja Blast here because I felt like being a high schooler again, apparently. But in all seriousness, I'm now 30%. I don't even know how to explain what just happened to me. So I'm now 26% in. No, I'm not. Okay, rewind. We've got this. We're doing so good. I'm now 36% into Captive by RJ Lewis, and I wanted to give you an update on. So when the book opens, we are at a hotel that Nixon, I think he might be our hero, but I'll clarify why. I'm not really sure later. He has been holding Vixen captive in a hotel for a number of years. Now, this hotel, he has completely bought out. He owns the entire thing, video cameras everywhere. All the staff works for him. It's on a private island. So Vixen is super isolated. And when the book opens, it starts with a bang, like quite literally, and not the pew pew kind. So Vixen's been captive for a number of years and she's still trying to get Nixon to let her go. But he also knows how to push her buttons, specifically in the Nether Yaya region. That seems to kind of make her comply, make her give in and submit to his will. So she sort of marches back into her cage willingly because at the end of the day, she does still kind of want to please Nixon. So she's got kind of these diametrically opposed ideas about what she wants. She wants to please Nixon, but she also wants to go free. And those are things that cannot exist simultaneously. So people actually know that she's being held. In particular, the crew, this organized crime group of some kind that he runs with, and they view the relationship between Nixon and Vixen as sort of a toxic relationship because Vixen will lash out and wants to go free and she'll throw a tantrum and then they can't help but kiss and make up. Nixon puts up with it all, despite the fact that he is notorious for unaliving people and being very ruthless. But there's a new guy in the crew, and this is why I'm not 100% sure that Nixon is our hero. And he doesn't really like that Vixen's being held and has offered Vixen a way out. So I have been enjoying this so much because it's kind of somewhere between like a toxic couple because they get in these fights because she wants to be released and then he will kind of get her to submit. She lashes out and likes to try and rile him up. She seems to get off on it a little bit. So it's a very interesting dynamic and she does seem to like him on some level and knows that he cares about her because he puts up with so much of her bullshit and he would not do that for other people. So part of her is kind of like flattered, kind of likes this, likes that she can have this bit of power, but then also she still does kind of want to get free. Sometimes she vacillates between the two. Sometimes she's thinking both those things at the same time. She hates when she disappoints him. Like at one point she pissed him off and she was like, I just need to appease him. So I'm like, is that a fond response to her captor? Is this because she actually cares about him and has feelings? I want to know why Nixon took Vixen hostage. I feel like I'm talking about Santa's reindeer. I'm having a really hard time with these names. And I'm suspecting based on something that's in the blurb and by a few little hints that have been dropped that there's a trope in here that I particularly like. That's where we're at. Completely forgot everything that I was gonna say. Yay, vertigo. I am going to go mail my mom's birthday card for one. And then it's date night tonight. So I don't think I'm going to be able to update you very much more unless something really cool happens in like the next couple of hours before date night ensues. So we'll see. Anyways, I hope you are having a fantabulous day. See you soon. But actually, what the fuck? So picture this. I am laying on the couch trying to summon the will to live, finishing my Baja Blast while reading one chapter on my Kindle. And did I find the will to live betwixt these pages? Yes, I did. It got so wild in that single chapter. And I can't tell you literally anything because it's all spoilers. And then she just goes, and then I remembered. Remembered what? I want to know. And then it goes part 2, the beginning. I think we're getting before she was in captivity. Needless to say, I'm having a great time. However, I do, in fact, actually really super need to put this book down now. And I will keep you updated because what the fuck? This just got so good. I mean, like it was good before, but like it just got so good. Enjoy your afternoon, evening. Why am I telling you that? Regardless, you should have a good day. Okay, I really need to go. Goodbye. Okay, my husband is literally on the way home right now. So I just finally finished getting ready for date night. So I'm just gonna update you really, really fast because I'm like 50% in or like 55% in now. This did not go in part 2 where I thought it was gonna go. Like I thought I kind of had like the broad strokes where this was headed and I absolutely did not. So this has been way more fascinating than I anticipated. This is not how I thought things started with them. So do with that what you will.
Hello?
Every time I say hello, it does make me think of Adele. Sony Records, please don't sue me. Actually, who is her contract with? Things to ponder another time. Hi. So it's now Sunday, and I'm just being a total flop of a human. My husband is off summiting a mountain, as he oft does. He's prepping for summiting Rainier, so he's off doing a big long hike, which means I get to be a lazy turd on the couch, which is great. I didn't update you yesterday because I, quite frankly, was just feeling a little bit lazy. Honestly, I was worried that I was going to update you guys too much. I feel like this pose is very strange. Let's sit up. I was worried that I was going to accidentally end up spoiling some stuff. So now that I'm through part 2, I'm going to do broad strokes update. That section was tense. You were kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop because it was either high action and you were like, everyone's in danger, oh my God, or you were sitting there waiting for someone to make their move. And you're like, what move is it going to be? Got to see Nixon in action and understand the reputation that we had been told about and saw glimpses of in part 1. You get to see the full thing. Yikes. That's a lot of blood. Also, finally understand how their dynamic came about, that sort of toxic dynamic that I was talking about earlier, because there is the starts of it, the why behind it that starts then. And it's a lot of them dealing with cognitive dissonance. And so that's where that kind of performance piece from the blurb pops in. So that was fascinating to see. One thing that I did not love as much, kind of gave me the ick. We are in Nixon's perspective at one point, and he goes, her lady bits were gripping me like she gripped my soul. So that's a no from me, dog. That took me out of the story, let me tell you. I was like, that's not exactly the poetic love declarations that you want from a man. Although, you know what? It does feel like one that a man would make. On to part 3. We are back in the present timeline. Something has been kind of hinted at in the first 2 parts, and I think I've put it together. I say this humbly because clearly last time I was like, I know what's going to happen in part 2, and I didn't know shit. I think I have an idea of where the rest of this is headed. There was mentions of like, this feels like something that's happened before. And I was like, keeping my eyes peeled. That is such a gross saying. I'm just thinking about that. Eyes peeled. I need to look up the history of that. Because like, if you think about peeling an eye, okay, we got off track. Yeah, so I was on the lookout for some clues, and I think I got it. I think I know what we're dealing with now. I'm excited to see how it all plays out because I have a feeling this section is going to be very high action. I also don't know. I looked it up. This is part of a duet, I guess. I don't know if this is going to be like cliffhanger ending or if it's like with a different couple for the second one. I have no idea. I didn't look anything up. So I just saw that there was another book associated with this one. So we might have ourselves in knots at the end of this, but I am going to get that bad boy finished and then I will be back to talk to you about the rest. I need to finish my morning coffee. Clearly, I am delusional. All right, bye, besties. Hello, besticles. Have I moved from this couch? Absolutely not. I am joined by, can you see him? Oh, a baby boy right over here. He's so very handsome. But good news is, although I have not moved from this couch, it did give me time to finish Captive by R.J. Lewis. Now, I finished that a couple hours ago and then promptly got a horrible bout of vertigo and had to take a nap. So if I look like garbage, we're going to be blaming that. The last third, the last part 3, the last chunk that I just read. Remember how I was like starting to predict? I was like, I think I know where this is headed. I did know where it was headed, but that just happened immediately. And then we had to move on to kind of like a convention of this trope that I sort of forgot about. Has to come around. Well, it doesn't have to come around, but it commonly comes around as like part of the third act and ending for Captives. And I was like, oh yes, this old song and dance. I thought it was well done. It was emotional. And then like right as we got towards the end, all of a sudden it was like, what if we added in some additional organized crime stuff? And I was like, why? It was a perfectly fine standalone. So I didn't really feel like that was necessary personally. I was perfectly satisfied with it as a standalone. I liked the focus on the captor-captive dynamic and the couple, and then just using the organized crime stuff as more like set dressing. It's not necessarily like integral to the plot. It just felt like kind of like Attack on, where the author was like, what if we made it a duet? And I was like, no. So that's how I'm feeling about that one. I think this was a really unique captive, and I love when this subgenre surprises me because I've read a lot from this genre, and I just feel like this author really knew her characters. She really knew how their minds worked, and I loved that about this. We're going to move on now to Dolly. Sport Boy, my husband, is still off climbing mountains, and so actually, let's check his location really fast and see how long we have. Okay, so now Sport Boy is almost home. So I was going to say that we're going to read Dolly for the next couple of hours on audio while I lay on the couch and try and get over this bout of vertigo, but that's not going to
be happening. So stay tuned. I will see you soon, besticles. Captain's log. Stardate 79821.7. I'm giving up the will to live. I've become one with the couch. The vertigo makes me nauseous constantly, and I'm giving in the need to nap. 4 people just unsubscribed. 1 nerd is trying to calculate what date I just said. I did that for you, girl. Anyway, my husband is off getting some things to prepare to grill tonight because it is Mother's Day, and although I'm not a mother, I'm a cat daddy to celebrate nonetheless. 2 things to update you on. 1, captive. I went to Margaritas, read on Goodreads, and it says in all caps that it's a standalone in the blurb. What the fuck? So I'm very confused now because it's clearly a duet, but then I read the blurb for the for the duet. Exactly, girl. For the second book, there's no names in it, but it seems like it's about the same couple, so I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Number 2, I have gotten a third of the way into Dolly by Measha Stone. I thought I'd give you a quick update. This is my second Measha Stone, I think. The first one, I did DNF, so hopefully this is a redemption arc because her prior book was like a bunch of tropes in a clown car. So that was a lot. This one is starting off way different. It's very grim. Basically, we meet up with Dolly after she's been in a human trafficking situation for a number of years. Her captors force her to do things on camera for a live audience, and then they can bid on what they're going to do to her. And so the highest bidder gets to control what happens. And a lot of it is degrading or just downright torturous. She doesn't really resist at this point because she knows it just brings greater hardship to her. And she also knows that there have been prior Dollys and they no longer live. There's also a new guy in the mix now. He just got introduced. He hasn't been in captivity as long, but they're doing the same stuff to him. And now they're kind of connecting because he hasn't been in captivity as long as like trying to get her to care about herself and have the will to live. So I think based on the blurb and based on interactions that this is our hero. We are also getting the perspective of a cop, but I think this is just a storytelling device to let us know about what's going on the outside, but also give us background on Dolly of like who she was before she was trapped. I'm not loving his perspective because I can't tell if it's him or his boss is kind of a pig. He at one point was like, here's your missing persons case. Try not to fuck her if you find her. No, thank you. But it is nice to be in his perspective only because like you get a reprieve from all of the nasty, horrible things that are being done. That's where we're at for the moment. It's pretty gross. I'm hoping that this is going to kind of go somewhere with that and it's not just being gratuitous because right now it kind of feels that way, but we'll see. I wouldn't say I'm enjoying it, but I am intrigued by it. So we'll take that. That is all I have for you. End of Captain's log. Goodbye.
Hello, my brethren. It's the following morning. I come to you humbly because I fear I must reveal I am potentially an idiot. I know that you have suspected this for some time. I am here to confirm your fears. I can't tell if I'm an idiot for a couple different reasons. So I kept reading, as one does with books, and I realized that I fucked up a bit of information in my description of the book. Now, I can't tell if I'm stupid because I missed the clues from a reveal or if I'm stupid because that wasn't a reveal. I just completely misread that section. So do with that information what you will. If you've read this book and you're like, you're a moron, you are correct. I have no defense for myself other than, I guess, the vertigo. I was spinning around that couch like all day. In my mind, at least. Bodily, absolutely not. What else do I want to say about this book? Good for her. And I'll say more about that. I think this feels a little bit like R.I.P. with the heroine kind of being childlike and there's sort of like gleeful engagement with violence. Thankfully, the violence that we were seeing and experiencing earlier in the book has lessened, but there's a different type that's just sort of increasing. Also, everyone in this book fucking sucks. I can't even tell if our main characters are good or not, to be honest, because I'm a little bit suspicious that things are a little bit off. And once again, I can't tell if things aren't adding up because that's something that we're building to at the end of the story. There's some reveal. If there's a plot hole or I'm stupid. And honestly, after the prior incident, I'm leaning towards the last one. Also, the biggest flag on the play for me right now is that there's been no build in the relationship whatsoever. It feels like they were just like, well, we're captive together and therefore we are together. There's no other basis for their relationship. And I get them connecting on a people level, but on like a true relationship level, it feels like the feelings are a little bit undeserved. That's that on that. Now you know my embarrassing secret. I'm going to continue reading as you do with books and let you know what my final thoughts are. See you soon.
Hello.
It's me. Did you miss me? Probably not, because you probably just saw my face like 4 seconds ago, unless you paused the video for some reason. And you might have. Anyways, hi. So I'm here to update you about a book that I finished, a novel, some might call it, and it's called something. It certainly has a name. Dolly by Measha Stone. Victory is mine. Okay, so as you can probably tell from that obnoxiously long pause, I am not doing very well with the vertigo the past couple of days. In fact, yesterday I could have updated you again about finishing this book, and I didn't because I treated myself to a little mentee bee pity party for one. I just decided to take a little pause and just have a little self pity because I'm so sick of this vertigo. It's making me do like the dumbest shit. Like prime example, I just had lunch and I went to bring it from my kitchen to my dining room and set the plate on the table. And I somehow managed to tip the plate and I couldn't figure out why the food was spilling. And so I just tried to catch it with my other hand rather than realizing like this hand was tipping the food. Yeah, so needless to say, I had to remake my lunch. Oh, I'm doing great. I love it. Anyways, let's talk about what you're actually here to hear about. That was too many hears, which is Dolly by Measha Stone. My final thoughts. This last chunk that I just read kind of headed in a different direction. I feel like the prior chunk was like unhinged and just like kind of a wild ride. And then this chunk that I just read was a little bit more like logical mystery. It was almost like someone tried to marry up R.I.P. by Charity B and Mindfuck by S.T. Abby a little bit. And in the process, kind of like watered down both of the concepts and made the characters feel really inconsistent because I'm like, are the characters so unhinged and incapable of seeing of seeing reason because of what they've been through, because it like broke their minds, for lack of a better phrasing, because I literally can't think of a different way to phrase that right now? Or are they logical and able to put the pieces together and able to like solve a mystery? Which one is it? Because I don't feel like a character can really be both in the way that it was presented in this book. It just felt like they changed their personality to fit the plot when they needed to. Like the heroine was supposed to be very childlike, and then suddenly she's just like switches it on. I just don't buy that. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating because I feel like in concept, this book is a 5-star, but I think the execution is more like a 2 or a 3. I'm leaning towards a 3 because it was still like a satisfying read. It was a fun read. I think conceptually, as I said, it's a fun book, especially for like an unhinged horror kind of vibe. But I think I'm realizing that Measha Stone probably just isn't for me because a lot of the issues that I'm bringing up with this book are actually issues that I had with her prior book that I end up DNFing, and I don't even remember the name of. Because what I've noticed with her books is that there is a clear plot. There's a story that she wants to tell, but for me, in the process, the characters end up not being developed and the relationship ends up not being developed because they just need to fit whatever the beats of the story are. And that's just not a type of storytelling that I find compelling personally. So that's that on that. I probably won't read Measha Stone again. I'm so sorry. Anyways, oh wait, should I show you guys my new hoodie? This is like one thing that's brought me joy lately. Ignore my shorts. They are garbage and so old. But can you see this? Kind of. Okay, so this is a hoodie that I've wanted for a while. It's from, I think her name or the brand is Blogilates or something like that. And it's a cropped hoodie, but it's like boyfriend oversized. So like this is a size small. And I remember seeing the owner like talk about her concept for this design where she was like, oh, I wanted like the boyfriend oversized hoodie, but like also cropped so you can like wear it with leggings and it like looks cute and hits well on a woman's body. I think this is gonna be my new travel hoodie. So catch me around SeaTac with this bad boy, traveling places. Actually, it's fun fact. It's not called SeaTac anymore. It's called SEA. Did you know that they can change the name of airports? Apparently they can. Apparently SeaTac was like, Tacoma's like off-brand for us now, and it's kind of embarrassing that it's here, so we're just gonna remove that. So it's just SEA now, even though the town that it's in is literally called SeaTac. Oh, a baby! Okay, Kevin wanted to say hi. Oh, and you can see his little shave spot. Okay, and he's done. Anyways, yeah, his little shave spot is actually starting to grow back finally from his allergy testing. He's doing so good with his allergy shots. I'm so proud of him. And he's like so not itchy anymore and it's so great. Anyways, I need to get back to work, so I'm going to do that. And hopefully you enjoyed whatever this update was. I'm going to get you reading Prisoner and I'll give you an update soon. I might need to lay down instead of going back to work. Okay, see you soon. Hello, K-pop demon hunters. We once again find ourselves in my bathroom with the most diabolical lighting ever because what the fuck? I swear this is like a cute outfit and my hair looks good, but it looks absolutely horrible at this angle. That's not what you're here to talk about. I did get a fair distance into Prisoner by Annika Martin and Skye Warren. A baby wants to join us. Hi.
Okay, he's gonna be moseying around on the counter and hopefully not too much of a distraction. We might see a tail or a back every once in a while, or just his full face. Okay, I've made it a fair distance into this book. I made it about 40% in. I will explain why I'm further in than I normally am in a second. Regardless, what is this book about? Basically, we have our heroine and she's doing like a capstone project basically for her degree. She's gonna teach like creative writing or something along those lines to some prisoners. She's not exactly excited about having to go to the prison to do this. She kind of like drew the short end of the stick, but she's pretty timid. She's very bookish, awkward. She's young, and she's going in to a prison with hardened criminals. Focus on my face. My camera always prefers Kevin's face, which is understandable, frankly. I think you guys prefer his face to mine. Regardless, back to the synopsis. She ends up going in and seeing this guy before she even gets to the creative writing class, and it was like, there's something magnetic going on here. Gets into the class, he doesn't join. So she gets like 2 sessions in, and then suddenly this guy joins because he's like, I think that this is my ticket to freedom, because he finds out they're going to publish in a journal and he's like, I have a message I got to get out there. This is my opportunity. His buddies end up breaking him out. And in the process, the heroine ends up kind of seeing what's going on and who's all part of it. So the prisoner guy ends up taking her hostage and now they're on the run. So far, I'm really enjoying it because although this has a lot of things that normally I don't know that I like that much, where it's got like a heroine that's just like so awkward and like a guy that's just like horned up. Like normally I don't like those archetypes in my characters, but in this setting, it just makes sense, I fear. Because like, of course, she is going to be awkward and uncomfortable because she's already like sort of a bookish person. Now you've got her in with all these hardened criminals that are older than her. Yeah, she's gonna be uncomfortable. And then the hero, he's a prisoner. He hasn't fucked in a long time. So like, these characters make sense to me. He's also a little aggressive and kind of violent, and he's in his like internal dialogue. And I'm like, again, he's a career criminal. It's what he literally does for his job is crime. So I think that's been kind of fun to see because I'm like, normally I wouldn't enjoy this. And I'm like, wait, I'm really liking this. The one thing I think right now that I'm a little bit like, gotten out of the prison. And I'm like, where's the book going? Because we like kind of met up with some of his like colleagues, his brethren in crime. They're just kind of like primarily on the run together. And I'm like, are we going to a safe house? Are we gonna go commit more criminal activity? I sounded like such a square when I said that. Like, I don't know. Because right now they're just kind of on the run and troubleshooting things as they go, which like, I mean, it's fine, I guess, but I don't know that that's going to entertain me for a full book. So I'm like hoping that this picks up more. And that's part of why I read to 40% because normally I'm like 25, 30% in. I'm like, I've got what's going on. But I was kind of like waiting for this to like settle into the plot. I think being on the run might be the plot. So I've got my eye on that. I don't know what that hand gesture was. I'm trying my best. Okay, that's where things are at for the moment. I need to desperately shower. Desperately. I've got so much makeup caked on from filming and I got a whole lot of hair wax in this hairdo and it needs to come out because it feels diabolical. All right, as usual, I'll continue reading. I will let you know if something fun or funky happens and pet the cat apparently. I don't know if that purring picked up on the mic, but you're welcome if it did. All right, see you soon. All right, hello, healthy people that I'm in no way jealous of. I'm gonna show you Kevin. Oh, so handsome. And then we're gonna put it back up by me because I need to update you on this book. I may look a little crustier than normal. Well, I look crusty in all my videos, so I don't even know why I'm saying that. It's because I genuinely don't give a shit what I look like. But I am crusty in particular this time around because I, say it with me, am not feeling well. On top of the vertigo, I now have the most disgusting, diabolical cold and cough. So, yay for me. My sinuses are putting so much pressure on my goddamn face. I want to rip my face off right now. It's making me even more dizzy because you know it doesn't help with dizziness, sinus pressure. So great. Love it for me. Anyways, I do. Sir, we talked about this. I need you to hold still. Can we shift you over? Okay, so I wanted to update you on Captive by Skye Warren and Annika Martin. Oh, that's not right. Although a good guess. So, as you can probably tell from the screen, the title is not in fact Captive, although that's a good guess because like half the books have the word captive in the title for this vlog, so not far off, but it is in fact Prisoner. So, just know that I'm gonna continue to make this mistake and we're gonna blame it on the cold, okay? Give me some grace, please. Because I did get a little bit more reading done. I did have to pick up the audiobook? Sure, girl. I did have to pick up the audiobook because my eyeballs don't want to stay open. I'm like a little bit further in. I think I'm maybe like 60% in at this point. I have to say, I know when I last talked to you, I was like, I don't know how the rest of this is going to go because I feel like it's going to get same. And
would you believe it? This plot has been keeping me guessing. I know, I didn't expect it either. Sir, he's just way too interested in the camera setup. The tripod is the forbidden fruit that he cannot play with. Anyways, I digress. The plot is keeping me guessing. There's been like multiple different twists and turns, and it's not like it's like out of pocket for this story. Like these are things that would happen in this type of story, but I was just figuring that it was gonna get like bland after this, and it was gonna be kind of like them hiding out primarily. And now I'm like, who's gonna come after them? Who's on their side? Like I have so many questions. So that's actually very enjoyable for me. I should not have moved my head that much. I feel like my brain is at sea right now. That is not fun, funky, or fresh. I am liking that the heroine is fighting back, trying to have some bit of strategy, but I don't like being in her perspective as much. Now, I do feel like that might be the audiobook because I don't love the female narrator. She has a style that's what I would describe as a little bit whiny. I think that paired with some of the over dramatic sounding sir, your head. We can't share the camera in the limelight. I think paired with some of the overly flowery lines, and then also it kind of feels like when she's talking through some of her emotions, it feels like she's giving me just like one line too many to try and convince me. Too over the top, a little bit too over dramatic. I mean, don't get me wrong, girlfriend has every right to be a little bit dramatic at the moment. She has been taken hostage, so like fair. I like the hero perspective a lot more. I think he's going through a lot more, even though it feels like the heroine should be, because he has kind of like recreated something traumatizing that happened to him, and he's trying to like justify some of that to himself, rationalize how he's treating her isn't like actually that bad, and I just find that much more compelling. He also has the added benefit of being voiced by Jacob Morgan, who is one of my all-time favorite male narrators. He's also a little bit funny. At one point he said something like, oh, this guy's a vet for large animals, horses, cows, and guys like me. That's objectively funny. And I think he's just like a little bit more dark and sinister without coming across over dramatic, because he is trying to justify it to himself. Like he thinks of himself as a good guy, even though he kind of knows that he's like not good. And that's also how he justifies some of the bad stuff to him. Anyways, I find him a lot more fascinating. That's that on that. That's what's happening. I hope you have health, wealth, and happiness right now in your life. I, however, have, well, none of those things. Oh, that's depressing. So I need to just, I think, hunker down for the night. I think that's what we need to do. I'm going to keep reading as I usually do. I don't know how much I'll update you. I think it kind of depends on how well I'm feeling. If I go downhill, maybe we'll just meet up at the end of the book. Or we might have to end this vlog early. I don't really know what's happening right now. Because I already had to cancel plans for the weekend. So today is Thursday. It's beer week in Seattle. I had plans to hang out with a couple of my friends with my husband as well. I got up this morning. I was like, honey, I don't think I can do this. I don't feel very good. And so we had to cancel those plans. And then I have plans with other friends tomorrow. And I had to be like, hey, Magic 8 Ball saying outlook not good, ladies. Which sucks because I haven't hung out with one of the gals since Halloween. Is how long it's been since we've hanged out. Do you speak English out of curiosity? Me just shit talking myself. Okay, yeah, so I'm sad, but I do need to get healthier because I need to make it to my friend's wedding on Saturday. I have so many plans. Guys, would you believe I'm an introvert? How do I make friends? Why do I make friends? Great question, first off. Why did I make so many plans this weekend? But anyways, I really do want to make it to my friend's wedding on Saturday, so I'm really trying to prioritize getting better for that. Anyways, I do need to go. My head feels like garbage. I need to decompress my skull. Decompress my skull? Oh, that's a disgusting image. That's not what's happening. I need to feel better. I hope you feel funky and fresh, because I don't. See you soon.
Hello from the Phlegm Factory. The CEO here, currently the only employee as well, but we are hiring. We are a Series A startup. The working conditions are in fact terrible, and there's absolutely no benefits. But if you want to join, I mean, who wouldn't want to? As you can tell, I've entered the delusional phase of my illness. I took a sick day today because I'm trying to rest up and get better for my friend's wedding tomorrow. I'm really hoping I can make it still. But that said, I have been trying to get the video. I think it'll be the video from last week to export, and it won't export, and it's kind of ruining my sick day. I'm like, I just want to lay and not think about anything, and this freaking video won't export. I just want to post it. It's all edited, and it's being so annoying. Anyways, I've now finished Captive by Annika Martin and Skye Warren. And the last chunk that I just read, granted, I am not feeling good. So perhaps that is influencing my opinion, but I did not like this last chunk. I just mostly felt annoyed with the characters. The hero was a lot less dark. He just got kind of sweet and soft. I kind of felt like his personality changed, and he was the person that I liked the most. And then the heroine just got kind of increasingly over dramatic about like how in love they were, and she wouldn't shut up about how in love they were. It started to feel like a lot of telling and not showing. And then the other thing, she was like, oh, I can hang with the darkness, but she ends up botching a plan because she tries to talk him out of it, like as it's happening. Bitch, you knew about this plan. You could have stopped it beforehand if you wanted to. What do you mean, right as they're about to actually do the damn thing, you suddenly are like, no, don't do it? Why? I don't know. She irritated me. I wanted to push her off a cliff. So I don't really know how to rate this one because like the first chunk I liked a lot. I just feel like that last bit just didn't, it just felt like a totally different book. Probably a 3, honestly, again. I don't know. That beginning was a 4 though. That sucks. I feel like this should have been a 4-star. Maybe it was the audiobook. Don't do the audiobook. I wouldn't recommend it. I love Jacob Morgan, which is why I grabbed it, but that female narrator was very irritating. Anyway, what should I be telling you? I'm gonna have to edit so many times of me coughing out of this. I think I'm gonna wait until I'm feeling a little bit better to read the final book because I have a little bit of buffer time, thankfully, before I need to have this edited and up for you guys. See you on the other side, suckers. And by suckers, I do mean me. I'm the sucker. Okay, I'm gonna go now.
Hello to all my favorite chicken nuggets. It's Tuesday now. I did give myself like another extra day because I don't know. I feel like I need to be a little bit nicer to myself sometimes and not just forge ahead. I actually do need to acknowledge that I'm sick. That might be cool. Thankfully, I was well enough to actually make it to my friend's wedding. So yay for that. Only embarrassed myself twice, coughed furiously, like one of those really bad coughing fits where you just like absolutely cannot stop and like your eyes are watering and your abs hurt. I had one of those like in the middle of the ceremony. So that was fun. Had to excuse myself for that one and like chug a bottle of water. And then I did end up spilling red wine because I had a bout of vertigo during the cocktail hour and I wasn't even like drinking the red wine. I just wanted to hold it so no one would like question why I wasn't drinking. And then I proceeded to dump it on the floor. Cute. But yeah, basically I've been the bravest little toaster. Although sometimes I think about these things at 3 a.m. and it's a little bit more like live, laugh, toaster bath. You know what I'm saying? What have I been doing? I have been reading. That's great. I'm halfway through Captive in the Dark right now by CJ Roberts. The premise is pretty straightforward. Basically, our hero, Caleb, was abducted when he was a child and sold, and he wants to get revenge against the person that did this. This is part of like a bigger like underground operation. And basically, he's been spending the past 12 years trying to establish himself in this world. So he has built up a reputation in order to execute this plan of revenge. He needs one last pleasure slave to train in order to make this all happen. And he has the perfect person eyed up, and that's our heroine. So our heroine was like waiting for a bus. She missed the bus, and he can just tell based on how she's responding to this, the way she's dressed, that she's going to respond in a way that he can manipulate. So he observes her frequently and from afar without her knowledge, if you catch my drift, and then ends up taking her. And the rest of the book so far has been him training her, which has been pretty brutal. So this is actually a lot darker than I was expecting. I don't know why. I think because it was like an early indie dark romance in my head, this was gonna be tiptoeing in that direction, but then later years they would have taken it farther and farther. But no, this is very dark. This is kind of more of like a horror romance almost. It's kind of similar to Lily White's Master series or Comfort Food by Kitty Thomas. Been really interesting because the hero, obviously because of his role, can kind of get inside the head of the heroine. Like he knew, she was going to be someone that he could kind of mold into what he wanted her to be. And he can kind of play on her fears without even knowing the specific trauma. He'll sometimes kind of call out some of the behavior she's engaging in a way to manipulate her, but it's also kind of nice because as a reader, it also gives you a little bit deeper insight into why she's behaving certain ways without like fully just being like a little bit too on the nose, if you know what I mean. So like for example, a lot of times her body is kind of betraying her. It's not responding in the same way that she feels mentally. And so in order to reconcile this kind of mismatch, this cognitive dissonance, she'll seek seek out punishment. So she'll go from docile to kind of lashing out. He'll kind of use that to be like, what if you stop trying to punish yourself? So he's trying to manipulate her, but it also gives you like a little bit of insight into what she's doing and why she's doing it. And it's just been kind of eerie to watch her slowly change her thought process over time, like being excited to see him, even though she knows like bad things are kind of associated with him because she's seen worse. So he's not the baddest of the bad. And also he usually like kind of starts with a gentle approach. So then when she lashes out, he goes, oh, see, that's actually your fault. I try to be nice. I want to be nice. It's you that makes me evil. Or just the desire to not be bored and isolated because she is in a cell, basically. There's no other stimulus other than when he's in the room. So it is exciting when he comes in the room because otherwise nothing's happening. I don't know. It's just been really, really fascinating on a psychological level. The other thing that I'll say is, and it's kind of my only negative so far, is that like some of the background with Caleb and what he's planning to do and why gets a little bit info dumpy because it's like it's not super well integrated. It's also like a little bit hard to stomach the idea he's basically doing the same thing that this mobster guy did because it gets him closer to his own revenge. And I'm like, but you're doing the same thing. You are equally as bad. You are equally as evil. And like you're just using these women to get your revenge. They're just pawns and like you're ruining their lives. So it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit hard to get on board with him as a hero. We shall see if he is able to redeem himself. It's because it kind of feels like they're trying to straddle the line a little bit of like, he's evil, but only because he was like pushed to be evil. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. My vertigo just kind of cropped up again and I need to lay down. I'll chat with you soon. Goodbye. So, oh my God, it almost looks like I was about to flash you. I wasn't, but it did look that way. It's Wednesday now. I want to wrap this video up because one, I need to get this edited to you. My illness delayed things a little bit. And then number two, I want to get this video edited so that I can read A Ballad of Fallen Dragons because that released yesterday and my tippy-tappy speed demon little fingers were able to, I guess fingers is plural, were able to snag a copy from my library. And I really want to be reading that right now. And it's all I can think about. But let's wrap things up for Captive in the Dark by CJ Roberts because I did finish that yesterday. Something went wrong in this last half and I'm not 100% sure on what happened. So I'm just going to verbal vomit. We're going to continue. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to say a bunch of stuff and we're going to see if any of it sticks. Things in this second half felt rushed in comparison to the kind of intentional pace I feel like was set for the first half of the book. Each scene was doing something. And then this second half, it felt like it was meant as an attempt to kind of redeem the hero a little bit. See, he's a protector. See, he's the hero. Don't you want to cheer from him? Don't you want to read the next book? But they need to get their HEA. It's making me feel, because that portion felt rushed, like this shouldn't have been split into a duet. Because honestly, this first book is not that long. I think it's like 200 pages. I feel like we could have just squished the duet into one longer book. I think the pacing would have been more compelling, potentially. I haven't read the second book, so this is me just like playing soothsayer? This is me being a witch, trying to predict the future. I don't know that that made that much sense, but you kind of get it, right? Excellent. You guys always get me. The author knew what they wanted to do. I just don't think that there was enough space in the book to do those things. Did I just nail that explanation? Potentially. Yeah, that's how I feel about that one. I think I would give this one maybe more of like a 4-star because I do want to read the next book. So I'm curious how things happen. So yeah, thanks for coming along on this, would we call it interesting journey? I mean, it was certainly a journey. I mean, hey, I got to read one of my favorite tropes while I was despondent for a large portion of the video. Great enunciating, girl. You're doing wonderful. I would now love to hear from you if you've read these books, what you thought, if you thought my opinions would be different if you have read them. Because I know there's a couple of you that were pretty excited for my thoughts on some of these books. Also, if you have any Captive recommendations, leave them in the comments below. I would love them. And with all of that, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for putting up with my illness. I do fear it shall continue. Yay. Don't forget to like the video if you did end up liking it. It would mean so much to me if you'd give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe, especially if you're a repeat watcher or if it's your first time here and you just want to see more videos from me. I'd love to have you back for more videos. So I really do hope I see you on my next video. Bye-bye.